Hello, hello, and welcome to the Be Free podcast with me, Susie McWilliam, and my beautiful friend, Birgit, who I'm absolutely delighted to have here with me today. Birgit and I met through an incredible group that she created when she was moved from the UK, from Estonia, which was a 5:30 a.m. morning wake-up group for kind of entrepreneurial women, I guess, not even entrepreneurs, I guess, just women looking to make good positive starts to their day. We did our little miracle mornings together where we did some mindset work and movement and creating our goals together. And yeah, so grateful for that time during lockdown and keeping that healthy habits and connection going with like-minded people. So hello, my beautiful friend. Do you want to say who you are, what you do?
Hello, and thank you for inviting me. That was a lovely introduction, and the morning cup still goes on. I'm a writer, and as you mentioned, born, raised, grew up, went to my midlife crisis in Estonia. So. And when I was 38, within 8 weeks from the decision, I moved to Scotland, to Aberdeen. I had never been to Aberdeen before, but I've really fallen in love with the city and the surroundings, although country girl in heart. I really enjoy Aberdeen and the way wildlife. The other day I saw otter in Seaton Park, just 2 meters away from me. So he kept his distance. Probably he hasn't heard about that the restrictions being lifted. But yeah, a lot of beautiful moments, like seeing dolphins and seals so close, and the bunnies. Just this morning I did my morning walk and there were just bunnies everywhere.
Yeah, I love that. I always think it's so beautiful for somebody else to come into your city or your country and they see it with such new eyes, I guess, you know, the new appreciation for things that maybe we take for granted because we just see it every day.
Yeah, we get used to things and taking simple things for granted. Just the other day, I wrote a post about how often people take independence, peace, and freedom for granted. And the war in Ukraine started on Estonian Independence Day. So that was the celebrations definitely had a different meaning.
Yeah.
So a reminder, like maybe people in the UK, it's difficult to understand what it really means to not being independent as a country. But Estonia as a tiny nation, just 1.3 million people. And I'm not talking about cities, but the country as a whole. So it's 5 times less than in Scotland, or just a bit less than that. But as a tiny nation and having the same neighbor, it's just, yeah, it is different. I can't say I'm anxious about things happening there, but I definitely feel the worry that has and the things, how they influence my family. Just the other day, my brother said, "Oh, it's so peaceful over there." We did a small FaceTime call, and I was walking in the street, and there was a lot of traffic noise, and I was like, "What are you talking about? Peaceful? I'm just crossing the street here."
Yeah.
But I said, and then he said, maybe I watched too much TV and the news and all the clips, and I said, well, I just keep the distance. I tend not to watch them.
Yeah. I think that's something that, we're both, I mean, before we started recording, we were kind of having some deep and meaningful straight in for that. I love this about you and like it's a sign of good friendships, I think, where you can just jump straight into really deep conversation. Like, you know, we can skim past the little kind of bits and pieces. But yeah, I think it is really great to have these kind of deep conversations. And yeah, I think it must be, you know, as you said about restricting watching the news, for example, I know that that's something I'm really passionate about as well, like looking at areas so that we can control in our lives, as opposed to what's out with our control and getting stressed and worried about that. You know, what can we, obviously this podcast is, you know, kind of about becoming happy, but equally, like, what can we do that's within our control to support the likes of the Ukraine, you know, what.
But it is part of becoming happy.
Mm-hmm.
The way I see happiness is that happiness is a decision.
Yeah.
It's not a destination, but is a decision that you constantly have to make.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to make the decision every minute. Sometimes it's an hourly, sometimes it's a daily decision.
Mm-hmm.
And happiness doesn't mean that you can't feel other feelings. No, it's not that. But it's deciding that I'm enjoying my life the fullest. Today, when we are recording this podcast, I can't say I'm celebrating, but I'm definitely looking back to my life, because exactly 10 years ago was the day I almost died.
Okay.
I was brought back to life, and that was the fourth time in my life when I almost died.
Wow.
So I've had 4 near-death experiences, and because I was afraid to live fully,
Mm-hmm.
to do me, be me. I was busy understanding what makes other people successful, and I was busy copying them, because if it works for them, it must work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just lost in my own life.
Yeah.
So happiness is, and becoming happy is, understanding who you are and how do you see yourself, testing out what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that you're not going to fall. It's part of the learning process, part of the understanding process. But it is the decision that no matter what, I'm having the joy to live, willingness to experience and to give everything to that day.
Mm-hmm.
One of my best friends, she is a category TV and radio host in Estonia, and her motto is by Paulo Coelho that one day you're going to wake up and you have no more time to do the things that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen that, and it doesn't have to be morning. It can be in an afternoon when you have your health checked and your body decides that no, although this medication is safe for like 99.8% of other people, it's not safe for you.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding this and deciding that this is my happiness that I have to create, that has been very liberating. And this is what happiness is all about: doing you, being you, just
Mm-hmm.
intentionally.
That's so powerful, so powerful. Thank you. Absolutely. I think we get so stuck trying, as you say, to find ourselves by copying other people, or, you know, other people who have what we desire, when actually the way, as you say, to find that is through being yourself. And I see it through coaching time and time and time again, that people come to me for anxiety coaching, but actually what the outcome is that they just discover who they are, that they're out of alignment. And that's why the anxiety or the depression or all these things kind of manifest, because we're not being true to who we are, and honest, I guess, with our emotions. And as you say, experiencing all emotions the happiness, the sadness, that is so important.
I like the way you said stuck, because what a lot of other people tend to use, the word that they tend to use in that kind of a description is overthinking. And I don't believe in overthinking.
Okay.
Just let's face the numbers. People use about 10% of their brain capacity, 10%. And that's like the very best of us who are really good thinkers and big thinkers. So there is no such thing as overthinkers if we use only less than 10% of our brain capacity. So the ability to think and really to focus is way bigger than we expect it to be. But what we confuse the word, or why we misuse, is we get stuck within one idea. So it goes around in our head, and we are like stuck like in a hamster wheel. We're just, running in the same idea, and there's no way out. And then people, oh, you're overthinking. No, you're stuck. Get out of the wheel. And the other place where they use overthinking is when we tend to worry and we have that anxiety. And I almost got rid of every anxiety, or I'm able to stop myself when I get anxious. Is anxiety is living in the future. Future is not here yet. So whenever I feel anxious and I say, okay, this is not here yet, this is future, right now is now. What is now? And then I observe what is now. So when I get anxious, is like, oh, what will she think if I'm gonna ask this, or if I say that, or if I behave like that, oh she's gonna do that like that. Oh, then and then people commented, oh, you're overthinking. Just ask. No, you're not overthinking. You are making the decision for someone else. You have decided that she is gonna say like that. Do we like other people making decisions for us? Nope. Nope. So who are we to have the right to make this decision for someone else? What is the worst that can happen? They're going to say no. Okay, they're going to say no, then you can take a next step. That's it. But
Incredible. It's the purpose of mindfulness, isn't it? It's like a really simple way to get the concept of mindfulness, that is all about that present moment, and that's all you have is this one moment. And as you say, that returning to the choice. Okay, what's my choice in this moment? Is it to, as you say, worry about the future, or is it to be present and enjoy this life?
But what if they say yes?
Yeah.
What if they say yes? What then? And this is often holding people back as well. The fear of success.
Yeah, that's a big one for me. I've struggled with that a lot.
Because what if I am going to be as successful as I've mind mapped or I put on a vision board? Am I really ready for that life? And by the way, the fear of success, he doesn't mention it like that, but he's describing it very well. I've read Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights.
Oh yeah, I've actually got that in my Audible. I haven't started it yet.
I've read that, and when he became famous with rom-coms and the money started flowing in like immediately, he had the same emotions, like the same overwhelm. So we are not alone, or we are not the only ones. We might be alone experience, but we are not the only ones experiencing the feelings, just all those phases in life. Why is it that a century after century, people make the same mistakes? Because they want to grow. Because we're all born as little ones and get our life experience throughout life.
Yeah. Amazing. Absolutely. So you mentioned at the start that you are a writer and you've written an incredible book called Becoming Happy, which I have here. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you will see me holding up beautiful Birgit's book here, which is written in both British and Estonian, which is super incredibly talented to write a book, not just in one language, but in two simultaneously, is so incredible. So with this, you class yourself as a mindset writer as well. So what does that mean, being a mindset writer as opposed to, I say you're a mindset writer, but you actually are a ghost writer for other people as well. So you do lots of different writing, but you know, as a mindset writer, what does that mean?
I'm writing about mindset and becoming happy. As I said, it's not a destination. It is something that it's like a journey or path, whatever we want to call it, we take. And this book was written on Instagram. And if you are curious, it is also available on Amazon as a paperback or on my website as a hardcover and as an ebook, because I think it's funny, it's hilarious, but actually an ebook was banned on Amazon because it's in both languages, and Estonian is not a supported language on Amazon.
Okay.
So it really didn't matter for Amazon that 50% of it is in English and all the content written there is in English as well. But because Estonian is not a supported language, it was banned on Kindle. So if you're an ebook, then it's on my website. Mindset writer, you know, it is mindset related. Our fears, doubts, what makes us happy, all kind of thoughts. Mindset for me is a thinking process. Yeah. So I'm writing about thoughts that are universal and unique at the same time. So the way I write them is I've experienced that people understand it differently. Like one thing, I still continue doing it on Instagram. So the same different people, absolutely different perception.
Yeah.
So it's really, really interesting how people understand the content on their own awareness level. And it all started from the urge to express those thoughts with what I saw in the nature during my walks, or when I look at the picture, or sometimes it was the other way around. I had thoughts in my head that I needed to get out, and then I was looking for a picture that I took, because I like taking pictures as well. Sometimes I see something and it's a great light, or there's a great contrast. Yeah. So I take my phone out and I take pictures.
I love that. Yeah. So there's some beautiful pictures throughout the book. I've just opened it just randomly at a page. So I'm going to read out one of your pieces here. It's called Open
That's your
Field.
message. Yeah. And that's your message for today, Susie. Whatever you open, this is one way of reading this book. You open it from a random page and that will be your message for the day.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love it. It's like short parts of poetry that Birgit has written, her thoughts, the mindset work. So I'm just going to share this one with you, which is called Open Fields. Open fields, I've always loved them. Plenty of room to be and think. Chances to change angles and viewpoints and point of view. Peacefulness, excitement, laughter, gratefulness. Yes, I'm at home. Oh, I love that. And I am at home with open fields, literally in front of me. I can see open fields. So it's so beautiful. So I know obviously you've had your own kind of struggles and things through life. And has writing supported you with your own struggles, would you say?
Absolutely. I think writing is something that has kept my sanity. I used to write everywhere. This urge has been there, and when we moved here, and I got some of the boxes delivered from Estonia, so there were all sorts of notes and notebooks, and then I put them all into one pile. Yeah, it was like that. And then my son had a look at it, and it was like, "Is that all you're writing?" And I said, "And you think you're not a writer?
Yeah.
Look at that pile." So there were napkins where there were like 5 poems in one napkin, on one napkin. Definitely. And then I think when my son was born, then I started writing those longer pieces where I described nature. So those little prose poems that are in that book as well. These are like short versions, what I did when I was home with a child, or when I had my short walks. I couldn't go longer because he was asleep. So, and then I just wrote it out. And even now, whenever I struggle with emotions, then I go for a walk. I put my notebook and a pencil into the pocket. And even if I don't feel writing during the walk, I usually come home and I start writing them then. I just need to write it out, because otherwise it's just, they're like those thoughts, the same hamster wheel. The only way for me to get unstuck is to start writing about that. And I start writing about the way I feel right now, or the thought in my head that just keeps spinning is. So I start a sentence and I just finish, and then comes another. So this is a tip or a trick I teach when people come to me and say that, oh, they're not really creative, or they don't find the time, or they don't know how to start writing, is the question that you need to answer, rephrase it into a half sentence.
Okay.
Make it an unfinished sentence that you have to finish.
Yeah.
And sometimes 2 minutes is enough. If you think that you need to write for 2 hours, then no, sometimes 2 minutes is enough.
Yeah, I think writing's a very powerful tool to support people when they're struggling. It can really allow the awareness of what's going on, as you mentioned, that thought. So journaling is great if you do it repetitively, because you will begin to see patterns, as you say, of these cycles that are stuck in our head. Like, I can't do this. I'm a crap wife. I'm a rubbish mom. Oh, I've failed at this. I'm so fat. Like the same story going on and on and on will begin to appear. And then you can begin to address that and question it and reframe it. And yeah.
I like what our don't know how to say that now. What I wanted to say with that, I like how Bob Proctor put it. Be careful what you're saying to yourself, because you're listening.
Yeah.
So the way we talk to ourselves is really, really important, and plays an important part of who we are and who we become. So when people say get out of your own way, it often means that you need to change the way you talk to yourself and the way you talk about yourself. And writing is a good way to change that. And I don't mean that you have to become writers. And just put aside that thought that whatever you write, you need to just put it out there. You're not writing, you're thinking on paper.
Yeah.
This is like thinking process. You're chasing your thoughts. You're trying to understand how you think. And if you don't like paper and pen, or you feel like, oh, something when you having a bus ride, then all the thoughts coming, then I discovered last year a great app, Reflection.
Okay.
There's a reflection app that you can use, and it will send you monthly summaries and reminders like, oh, we haven't seen you for a while, and all that. You might want to check it out. Not affiliated, just a useful tool that I found out. So definitely just try that out. And there are certain exercises about your inner critic and your cheerleader.
Yes, there a
which I
simple
do.
practice that maybe
Yes.
people could
Yeah.
try at home that you could suggest from your experience?
The 2-minute writing exercises, like the way I said, this, reframe it as a half sentence.
Yeah.
The inner critic and cheerleader exercise is a bit longer, but I do teach that during my creative writing courses, and these courses are not for writers, but for people who need writing, but they don't want to be writers.
Yeah.
People who have to write, but they don't see themselves as writers. So this is where we face that. And
yeah, I'd
and it
never
is
thought
always,
about that before until you said that about people who
yeah,
need to write. So they
yeah,
maybe need to write for their job or certain elements of things, and they don't feel confident with
yeah,
reports or all sorts of different things.
yeah. Or their business. Like we send out emails. How do I start that email?
Yeah.
So I'm really passionate helping those people unleashing the inner writing geniuses.
Yeah. Unleash the writing genius. I love it.
Yes.
So other than writing, what do you love to support your own mental and physical health?
I like Latin dance.
Cool.
And I've attended for a bit more than a year now, if we include lockdown when the classes didn't happen. I'm Latin classes in Aberdeen. Daniel is an amazing teacher. I go there twice a week, and it is just not about physical health, but what it has taught me is how to let go control.
Yeah.
I'm less of a control freak. I've learned to trust other people more, especially men.
Yeah.
I had huge struggles at the beginning trusting my dance partner. Like, I even don't know you. Who are you to lead me? I know my own steps.
Yeah.
But you really can't dance together. And we can use dance as a metaphor in many areas of life. You really can't dance together if you don't trust each other.
Yeah.
If you don't learn how to lead, or you don't learn how to follow, like really follow. And that was a wonderful, wonderful experience and personal growth moment.
Yeah.
Also, what I like and love about dance is I can't think of anything else but what I'm doing just now. I can't think about my customers. Sorry, not sorry. I can't think about my work. I can't think about my writing my own book. I can't think about anything else, even about my son and his teenage years and all the wonderful things happening during that.
Yeah.
But I have to think about, what am I doing right now?
Yeah.
Be in the present.
Love it. I was like that. I need to get back. You've just inspired me to get back boxing, because boxing for me was exactly the same. You cannot can't think of anything else, otherwise you're going to get smacked in the face. So you just have to be mindful
Yes.
and present.
Yeah, you have to be in the present. And yes, it's a great mindfulness exercise. And like when you're dancing with a partner, then also notice where are the signals. It's just not about steps, but also what is other person doing? What does he want me to do? Where is he leading me? What this is about? So you have to be in the, you could be just, oh, what is my grocery list? No.
Yeah. Definitely.
So this is what I do. I also doing walks in the nature when you asked about that, and reading what other people have written, old-fashioned way, books.
Books. Absolutely. Love a book. Okay. So, I mean, I think you've covered lots of this, but my podcast is called Be Free. And you've described yourself so many moments of you being free, but what does being free mean to you?
Once again, I'm quoting Bob Proctor. It's written out in capital letters, and it took about quarter of A4 page.
Wow.
In one of the sessions, he said, if I want to be free, I gotta be me. Not the me you should think I should be, not the me my wife or my son or my friend think I should be, but the me I think I should be.
Yeah.
But to me, being me, I need to understand who I am. And then that who am I, that question caused me, okay, I got stuck into that. And then I read David Eagleman's book. He's a neuroscientist, and he wrote a book about human brain, the way our brain shapes our life and our life shapes our brain. And the first chapter of that book is who am I? And probably the last sentence or the very last paragraph, anyway, he answers that question. And he answers that we are work in progress. So we are not ready.
Yeah.
Always changing, not flawless, but full of opposites. Work in progress. And it was such a relief.
Yeah, I think I was literally thinking about that this morning, this work in progress, that there's always more. There's always more. There's always different emotions to deal with. There's always different situations. There's always new skills to learn, new ways of being on this journey to being more of you and more of yourself. And I think for some people, this is what I was thinking this morning, that can be almost overwhelming or worrying. Like, shit, I thought I had it figured out and there's more. Like, is that worry of, oh man, I've got to keep going. But if you adopt the attitude that you've spoken about of being in the present moment, you choose how you want to feel, enjoying that journey and that process, as opposed to seeing it as a struggle or climbing up a really big freaking mountain, but just enjoying taking in the scenery on that walk.
I have another story that goes with it and might create some more freedom. What I've noticed, and I've addressed it a couple of times on Instagram as well, is a word, perfect and perfection. And also the way it is misused. You mentioned already the change, and I mentioned change. So Bob says as well, or said as well, that we're already perfect, like spiritual beings, part of nature. And if we look at around us, like nature, it's always changing.
Yeah.
No day is the same. Even no sunrise is the same. Always changing. Seasons, like in some areas of the world, they are more noticeable than in others. And full of opposites. Blizzards, beautiful sunny days.
Yeah.
That fragrance after the first spring rain. Leaves falling, you know, as colorful and beautiful as they are, they leave trees to be bare.
Yeah.
So full of opposites, even earthquakes, all sorts of things happening in the nature. But it's changing, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's not flawless. There are things we don't like. Some people like sunny weather. I prefer rain sometimes. I really like walking in the rain. So, and we are part of nature.
Yeah.
So we are perfect too. Always changing, full of opposites. Flawlessness is something like a destination. Like there are no flaws anymore. It's subjective, but it's a destination. Perfection is that work in progress. So when people say that, oh, it's not perfect, then I always feel tempted, and sometimes I do. No, it is perfect. It's not flawless, but it's perfect.
Yeah.
And I think changing the perspective about that word really takes off some of that pressure.
Yeah.
Because it's just not about the mindset and thinking, but if you think about the battery, like the ones you use in the wall clock or all kinds of battery, the one that your phone uses, it has plus and a minus. If you take minus off, there is no battery. The battery is not working.
Yeah.
And another exercise, I'm asking you, Susie, and I'm asking all the listeners, just take a pen and paper, whatever you have in front of you, or if you don't, just use a finger and whatever surface you have in front of you and draw a plus.
Yeah.
Do that, please. Draw a plus.
Yeah.
Now draw a plus again without drawing a minus into it.
Oh, you can't.
Exactly. So there is minus even in a plus.
Yeah.
But what you focus on matters.
Absolutely.
Do you see the whole thing, or you see only a part of it?
Yeah. Incredible. Yeah, I love that. I love that thought process. And as you were speaking about the weather, it reminded me of a beautiful meditation, mountain meditation. So if anybody wants to check that out, that will support you with that mindset shift as well, of just embracing things as they are. And I think one thing that supported me, and just to kind of briefly touch on my membership, is traveling this journey with other people who are of a similar mindset. And as you say, allowing yourself to recognize that it's a journey, that it is progress, that you are learning and growing and evolving, as you mentioned, like in nature. And if anybody is interested, this podcast will be going out in March, and the Spirit and Soul membership doors open in March. So if you want to dive deeper in this and get support in and around mindset, meditation, healing with other like-minded people who also are not, flawless, then come and join us, because it's so great to get support. And obviously Birgit and I met through a group of like-minded people, and to connect with people that are on that journey, because often they may not be your family or your friends. everyone's at different stages, and to find your tribe, community, whatever you want to call it, can be so empowering and supportive. So if you want to know more about that, I will pop a link in the show notes. Sign up for the wait list, because I will have a special little deal for those of you on the wait list. So do that sooner rather than later. And yeah, it's a really great space to connect with like-minded souls. So speaking of connection, how can people connect with you further, Birgit? What's the best way for people to connect with you?
I think the easiest way to find out a bit more is to go on my website, and links to all my socials are there.
Yeah.
You can also check out Susie's page, and then you will find me from her friendship list.
Yeah.
Or I've also have a LinkedIn profile. As I said, I still keep writing the happiness book on Instagram. I'm pretty active on Facebook as well. Feel free to connect me there and say, oh, I listened to the podcast. I just want to know more.
Yeah, because
So,
you have your writers group on Facebook as well, like a little community there, don't you, for supporting people with writing?
Yes, this is something that we run together with a marketing expert, Ian McMichael, and it's about creative content. He's teaching the framework of copywriting, and all the technical details of the marketing side, and I'm adding the creativity and how to get out of your own way and get unstuck with the thinking. There are a lot of we've created a space to learn.
Yeah.
So it's more of a place where you go back, oh, I really need an exercise, or I want to develop my writing skills. So we just put exercises there, something to read if you want to develop skills. And of course, we share the workshops that are coming up. There's one coming up at the end of March as well in that Facebook group, exclusively for that group. So
amazing.
Yeah, this is what we do.
Brilliant, thank you. Is there anything else you want to add before we jump off today?
Just be free, be inspired by your own life.
Thank you. Oh, I actually felt quite emotional a few times through this. I'm like, so good. So many nuggets of wisdom for people to go away with. And so grateful for you being here and sharing that wisdom with everyone.
Thank you for having me.
What is that? So we will see each other very, very soon. Bye.